The Devil Eyes is the most popular and frequently diving cave in the world, but only certified cave divers with dive lights are permitted to enter. If you are not careful enough, this cave can be life-threatening. Several things can go awry when you're exploring a dark cave underwater, such as equipment failure, losing your way, or trying to deal with close to zero visibility while making your way to the exit. One thing is clear: cave diving is not a sport for the faint-hearted, and yet the sport still has plenty of fans who look forward to every dive with unbridled enthusiasm. But cave diving isn't always recreational. The risky activity is also an important tool for scientists to learn more about underwater caves and marine life. There was a fatal accident in a cave in Florida on Thursday, August 8, 2013. Carlos Fonseca, a resident of Caledon, Ontario, was diving in the Devil's Eye cave system, part of Guinea Springs in Florida. Mr. Fonseca had been diving for about 4 years and was full cave trained, Tremix certified, and sidemount full cave trained. He was a Wakula Award recipient for having conducted safe cave dives. Mr. Fonseca was preparing an aluminium 80 cubic foot tank that was permanently and clearly marked with O2, oxygen, and Melod 20, maximum operating depth 20 feet, as a stage bottle to 90 feet in order to extend his penetration distance into the cave. His teammates observed that the Carlos was about to use an oxygen bottle for a greater depth than it was considered to be safe for, and questioned him about it. The oxygen bottle was intended to be used down to a maximum operating depth of 20 feet, as marked by the victim. Mr. Fonseca, who had a full mix/blend station at home, replied that he had filled the bottles himself and knew that the bottle was filled with air. Mr. Fonseca's teammates repeated their concern about the bottle in question, and the victim insisted that he knew it was air. Mr. Fonseca's computer was also set for air. No one had observed Mr. Fonseca analyze that tank that morning. The team continued to prepare for the dive and discussed the dive plan, reviewed the map, and made contingency and emergency plans to turn the dive if necessary. Mr. Fonseca proposed to not make any visual jumps during the dive, which refers to crossing a gap between the main permanent guideline and where a branch line begins, without a gap spool. The team entered the Devil Springs cave system through the eye in the Santa Fe River. They went upstream about 400 feet and were about 1/3 of the way between the park bench and Hill 400 when Mr. Fonseca began having a seizure and then lost consciousness. The partial pressure of oxygen was about 3.6 at the depth of about 85 feet, causing oxygen toxicity. His teammates decided to bring the victim to exit through the ear, going through a wide passageway known as the gallery, passing one restriction, and with a direct, easier path out than back through the eye. The teammates were watching Mr. Fonseca's face as they pulled him along for the 220-minute challenging exit from the cave, ensuring that his nose was pinched, his regulator was in his mouth, and observing whether he was breathing. Mr. Fonseca began breathing at 2 points on the way out of the cave, as well as at the surface prior to possible cardiac arrest. As the group surfaced and shouted for help, other divers, including cave instructors, assisted in getting Mr. Fonseca to the shore and commenced CPR. Mr. Fonseca was transported alive to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead. A cave instructor who took part in the rescue attempt later analyzed the tanks in the presence of members of the sheriff's department. The single-stage bottle was analyzed to be 98% oxygen. The partial pressure of oxygen was about 3.5 at the point of the seizure at a depth of about 85 feet, causing oxygen toxicity. The back-mounted double steel tanks were analyzed as having 30% oxygen. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, do like the video and leave a comment. Subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos.